Hey guys, it's Daniel, your host of Pit Stop with Sammy, and we are in Homewood at Demitiri's BBQ. They opened in 1961, and Mr. Sam Nakos is a longtime friend of Sammy's, and we're really excited to step into a conversation with him. So let's come on inside and meet with Sam and see where this goes. Come on.
This business that we're in is very hard to explain to others. I mean, all the relationships we have to explain. They ask us questions. And we look at them. How do I explain to you? I got to be at a restaurant. Why am I uptight right now? Why am I nervous? Why am I worried about something? 4 a.m. The cook's going to be here, and you're always on edge. So it's hard to explain to others. Yeah. But Van. You don't have to finish the sentence with him, man. He gets it.
How about this? You come in Monday morning. Guy said, "How was your weekend?"
What weekend?
What are you talking about?
Oh, okay, let's.
Does he mean were you busy, or did he mean were
Yeah,
you out at the lake?
saying.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. So that's another thing that it drove me crazy because how do I get started on that? First of all, I'm not a football fan, and that is a really unusual thing for a guy in our business to be. I can't even talk football to everybody because we worked.
Yeah.
You know, Saturday afternoon, I guess you could turn on a TV and watch a game, but man, we were here all the time on Saturdays. And another thing, back to what you just said, is we'd have people come in here that were like, I'm going to go ahead and say it, they were reps. What do you call it? Medical reps.
Right, yeah.
And they would just get us to cater for them, and they would all go down to the beach. And every single holiday, they were at the beach, or not just them, everybody. And we were here.
Yeah.
We always opened up on Labor Day. You know this. It's our life.
It's your big day. That's your second biggest day.
Our life was Labor Day, 4th of July, Memorial Day. We were open everyone. We closed 3 days a year, probably like you. Christmas, Thanksgiving, and New Year's Day. Is that what same with you?
Yeah, well, Easter.
Y'all closed we did too. Well, we were closed on Sundays.
Well, that's right, it didn't matter.
We
Yeah,
did 6 days a week.
Yeah.
But I know you guys did 7, but I'm going to tell you something. You got to remember, there's only 2 restaurants, and y'all work your butts off. I'm not saying it, but we closed on Sundays, but we were open 15 hours a day.
Yeah.
We had the breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So that Sunday wasn't enough, was it?
We opened. We were closed on Sundays when we first went out there. I believe we were out there about 10 years before we decided to open on Sundays. And first off, it's a scheduling nightmare. See, if you do 6 days, you can maneuver people around. And you always got that one day. It's everybody take your day off. But when you go to that 7th day,
I'm laughing because it's unbelievable.
A nightmare.
See, most of the people we talked to never had one employee. We're sitting here trying to put together a professional restaurant, and we're getting employees that have never washed a dish, and we're just like, get back there, throw an apron on, just do this and do that, and we train them on the fly.
Well,
say hello to customers while they're walking and staring at us. It's like we're on stage, and we've got chaos behind us. That's the thing people don't understand. This isn't well organized.
It's not. It's not so much. Well, everybody says they know. They might know. They don't want me to come in and sit down. No offense to you, but they don't want you to sit down with them. They just want you to say hello to them. And then there's some that you will sit down, but you can't. Mm-hmm. If you did that, you're sitting down all day long. You ain't accomplished nothing. Mm-hmm. It's a different world, just like we're talking about. These guys you see on Monday morning, where you been? What's going on? What y'all do? Well, they will be gone from work since 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock Friday afternoon.
That was a vacation.
Yeah.
Just what they did on that weekend.
That's exactly right.
I always thought, my God.
You could slip down to the beach for a couple of days.
You could plan 4 vacations in a month.
Yeah.
You got this weekend off.
Yeah.
And sometimes you'd hit a holiday, they'd get a 3 or 4 day.
Exactly.
I was like, good Lord, man.
President's Day or Good Friday now they do. You know, it's
We couldn't close.
no.
So Van, back to Van, he's a great guy. And, you know, I used to say there were 4 of us. You, Van, me, and probably Nikki.
Nikki Manikitis.
But Nikki came in here, and I think he started it in 1980 or so. When did he start?
Well, the
See, we were here 61. You probably started in 6. Did you start?
No, I started in 70. I got out of the Navy somewhere around 74.
Okay, well, I started here in 1980, but I started at 8 years old over there.
Well, sure.
And and you were all the restaurant business you've done, but there were really 4, and then everybody jumped into the restaurant business, the barbecue business. So this is interesting too. We were in competition, and you did a great job. And but in the 80s, it exploded because everybody came through your place, my place. Everybody did it, and they started realizing. And then Johnny Ray got up there and started, you know, knocking it out of the park. But then we went from 4, 5, 6 barbecue restaurants in Birmingham. Literally, right now there's probably 250, right? Would you say?
Yeah.
I mean, I would. I mean, and our business has not slowed down, it's gone up. But how do you do that? When competition opens up all over the city and you're still doing good, that means you're a fighter.
Yeah.
And you have to dig in and try, you have to innovate and change.
Not only what you have to do is you got to make, you got, whatever employees you got back there, they've got to believe in your system. They got to believe, they got to know that no matter what happens, you're going to be right there for them, and you're going to help them, and you're going to show them, you're going to lead them. Mm-hmm. We're going. It's just like going into war, man. All right, it's 11 o'clock. We're going, baby.
That's funny. It's like going into war. It is about. Let me tell you, when your name's up there on that sign, it is a battlefield.
Hell
and by the way, it's not just barbecue places. Within a quarter mile of here in Homewood.
Oh yeah.
Within a quarter of a mile there, we counted. John Cronteris and I counted one day. I think it was 40 eating choices. 40 within. I mean, literally within 3 blocks of here.
I believe.
And that happened. Homewood boomed. And we had to keep rechanging and
Does he miss?
John, that was funny because when they sold Nabil's or they got out of Nabil's, he was really kind of depressed for 6 months. But after 6 months, he said it was the best thing.
I saw him in a bookstore one day. He was in a bookstore having
Happy
coffee.
as hell, and he looks great.
Yeah, he's got a suit on.
Oh my God. I call him 007 of Homewood.
Unbelievable.
He used to drive the Jaguar.
Yeah.
And he always has the tie. He used to wear a tie when he expedited
That's
up
what
there.
I'm saying. He was in a suit. Everywhere you see him, he's got a suit.
Yeah,
on.
he's a great guy.
Saw him
You
at
like
the-
that 007 of Homewood?
That's beautiful. because he fits the. He's tall. He's tall. He's slender.
Yeah, that's right.
He's about 80 now, I guess. He's
Yeah.
got to be over 80.
I put him a little bit above 80, 83, 84,
Yeah.
85, but he had a...
Sammy's got a nickname, Godfather of Barbecue right now.
You're a godfather of barbecue?
I would never claim that.
What's that?
I would never claim that because, like you just said, there's too many. There's
You
too-
could
there's-
claim it, man. I mean,
there's too many
hey, look,
people
let me
that-
tell you, let's just get some, I've been here 45 years. At some point, you got to say, I mean, you have to, we've been humble because we've been, this business will humble you. You make a mistake, you may do 4 things right, and then all of a sudden you're doing one thing wrong that I guess that's true in carpentry too, but woodworking. But
Well, let me say this. What getting close to that is, you've been here 40-something years. Mm-hmm. Over those 40 years, every few years you come to a crossroads, and you got to make some changes.
you better believe it, yeah.
Whether it's
It's personnel mostly.
yeah. And you got to
changes,
get them to do. Well, first off, you got to make sure you got the right people.
You got to have people. If they don't believe in you, you're in trouble. In trouble.
Well,
and I think, are you blessed with some people that are?
We
You
have
can't do it without others.
I've seen more talent now. Now, there's not as many people that would. There's nobody cares. That they've got a good group. Their people care. There's just not enough of them.
There's some good, loyal,
But that's,
caring
yeah,
people. Yeah.
they're smarter because all of a sudden,
Yeah.
when you came up,
No, there are. Yeah.
my youngest son, he's 30 now. When he was before, what do they call it, kindergarten, all right, they had these handheld little baby computers.
Oh,
Well,
I remember that. Yeah.
How you gonna? We didn't have anything like that.
No.
You know, they used
and,
to stick you outside, and you know, your mom would stick you outside and say, don't come back until lunchtime.
Yeah.
And then don't run after you eat. Okay, now you can get up and don't come back until it gets dark. Now you could do that back then. When my boys came up, they didn't have the neighborhoods that they could run around and do. They had to have what they call them play dates and stuff like that. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, and I think, my dad was a World War II guy from Greece. He came over when he was 28. Their whole philosophy was get in there and just go. I don't care what it takes, but you're going to do it. And I think if you do find a loyal, I would say, person younger than us, half our age, they go about it differently, and they go about it a little bit more smart.
Well, that's what I'm
I never had a manager. I never had people helping me. I didn't really understand the structure and the chains. You find out people have opened up 40 units, chains, like let's just say Burger King, McDonald's, or any of these chains on 280. Well, they started they were great at that, and I was pitiful at it.
Yeah.
Were you?
We always had a manager with me.
See, I just didn't know how to
But-
do all
but-
that. It was just
and
not something my dad had in his vocabulary. We just didn't have that.
Yeah, so the manager,
I was the manager.
yeah, their background was me. So, let's face it, I didn't have the knowledge to train somebody, and we were not going to teach them what we did with the money, and you make the deposit or you do this, and that's it.
Yeah.
Basically, I did the deposits.
Of course, yeah.
Come in the next morning, and we did whatever we had
Yeah,
to
it's
do.
another thing about our business, money. And back when you and I were doing it a long time ago, it started off at 90% cash, 80%. We're in a cash business, and we have to count money, and we can't trust everybody.
No.
Seriously, I did it every single day. I did the deposit. My dad taught me how to do it as a kid. I think I was 18 or 19 years old, and he started teaching me right there at that table right there. I don't know if you remember when the car hit us. We have photos of it. The car hit the front and shot bricks back to where we were sitting. Luckily, we finished the deposit and we went our separate ways. But
Now, wait, let's just get this straight. A car runs
into the building.
And all you worried about is a damn deposit.
No. Yes.
I just want to get that straight.
Well, that's like the football go
But you know
across the
what?
goal line.
But see, I understand that.
That's what I was talking
I
about.
understand that, but the younger generation, because they don't even know what cash is.
No, I know. They don't know what cash is.
But I got that. I'm going to keep that. That's going in. When I say about Sam, Sam almost got run over by a car, and he was worried about the damn money.
You can exaggerate the story if you want to. Just make it,
And I'm gonna blow it up.
I know you are.
Yeah, I'm gonna blow that thing.
Greeks do that a little bit, don't they?
I'm gonna tell him you pushed your dad out of the way and you saved his life.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's right.
You're just a hero.
I am. Yeah, a little Superman story there, but interesting business.
You were over down at the next block.
Yeah.
All right, what happened that y'all made the change over and the change of the name and all that?
Okay, what happened was my dad went to work for Uncle Sam, who was Sterling beer distributor. You remember?
Oh, yeah, Uncle Sam, the Sterling beer.
Like my grandfather.
Right.
He was my grandfather's brother. We never met our grandfather who was in Greece, but Uncle Sam was our grandfather figure, so. He came over here and he decided, he opened, Uncle Sam owned Oakland Barbecue, the building, and my dad tried to do something on his own. He went over there, served beer, and there was a pit in the back, and he cranked up the pit, and he made a lifetime choice. I don't want to serve beer. I don't want late nights. I want to be a family man, and I want to serve barbecue. But they loved his barbecue, and he came up with sauces and things like that. That was in 57 maybe. And then he had a partner over here because my dad he used his own money. didn't borrow or didn't have anybody give him anything. So had a partner, and the partner, my dad did all the work. The partner he was a lazy guy.
You can't tell me his name.
He's long gone. I can tell you his name.
Oh, I didn't know. No.
And all I remember is my mom would go over there and eat. My dad would be working, and he couldn't wait to get out of that partnership. So that happened in '61 over there at El Rancho, and that was the main drag. So if you wanted to go downtown, even when we went to church, when you want to come downtown, there was no Red Mountain Expressway. You came right. So the location was great. Maybe Joe had that idea. I don't know, but anyway, so in '73, he just built this restaurant a block north and put his name on it. So that's how that happened.
I knew there was El Rancho, but then I knew y'all came over here, and I didn't know what the story was behind it.
Yeah.
It's a hell of a location. I mean,
So it was 13 years there until he had stabilized. But he was over there and doing really good. He sent us all to Mountain Brook, and he built a house. The fire chief up here, Chief Al Evans, I remember him, childhood hero of mine, kind of, built this restaurant and built his house over there. Was a off-duty fireman. So he had us in Mountain Brook in '66, and so he was on his way to. He was a successful restaurateur, not easy to be.
Yeah.
How did you you just grew up in it?
Well, at 8 years old, I got a phone call, and I was sitting at home. I remember it crystal clear.
You didn't have a cell phone, I know.
Yeah, I had a cell phone back
Oh,
then.
you did? Oh, you,
No,
you
I
spoiled
didn't.
brat.
No, I remember the phone on the wall. I know exactly where it was. So, got a phone call, and my mom's hung up the phone and said, "Sam, Dad, your father says the dishwasher didn't show up, and he wants you to come to work." And my whole world just dropped. I was sitting on a shag carpet 4 feet in front of that TV watching cartoons, and I thought, man, I got it made, right? Well, unfortunately, I just started crying. I got in the car. My mother stood by it now. Got in the car, and we drove all the way down to the restaurant. As soon as I got to the restaurant, there were characters there. I can remember them. Reggie, the busboy. Zuela, the pie maker. Yeah, that's a net name. And Barbara and Pearl and all the servers down there. And this is like, right now it would be like going back in time. But once I got down there, I started having fun, being around them. They liked me and the people. And wasn't a problem. So I was the guy out of the 3 boys who Dad got down there. But the other brothers wouldn't go or refused to. But
So you got 2 brothers?
2
You were
brothers,
the-
yeah.
you were
There's
the
3
oldest,
of us.
right?
I'm the middle. But let me tell you, this is a very interesting thing. It's about the people. This business, without our love for people, is what drives us. And the Greeks have that. The Greeks have it. I've been to Greece. This is not a cut on anybody else in Europe, but the Greeks love people. They want to make you happy. They want to fill you up, and they're glad to see you, and they want to fill you up with food, and they want you happy on the way out. That's the way the Greeks are. And see, that was in me. Was it in you?
When you went to somebody's house and you didn't accept their offer of a drink or water, anything, they were offended. In Chicago,
Greeks were offended.
Yeah, in Chicago, my mom was from Chicago, so we went.
My mother's from Chicago.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
We went every summer. We would go to Chicago. We get on the city of Miami, the train, and go to Chicago.
Wow, really?
And then somebody would come by to visit because Mom was in town, and we're at Aunt Bessie's house, and Uncle Peter, Uncle Jimmy would come by, but they always had a box. They'd stop by the bakery somewhere.
Oh, yeah,
Every bakery on every damn corner.
Mm-hmm.
A white
Greek
box
bakery,
with some
probably.
kind of a string. I never did figure out how they tied that string.
Yeah.
He'd come in with a box, and they'd sit there, and they would just, relive their childhood or whatever it was. Of course, they never, we had to go in the other room. We couldn't sit there when they were talking because you didn't do that.
Yeah.
When you were young, you did not sit at the big table.
No.
And
Let
you
the
never
parents
and
talk.
you never interrupted
No,
an
no.
adult.
We were. Let me tell you, we went to Greece, and my little brother and I were bored out of our mind. My parents would go out to eat at about 9 o'clock at night,
Yeah.
and they would stay there till 12:30, and they would speak another language, and we were bored out. We were not allowed to be in that.
No.
So, and when Theo goes on vacation, you probably remember Theo, our meat cutter, childhood meat cutter. He cooked our barbecue. I know you remember him, don't you?
Sure, hell yeah.
And then
what was his
Nikki
full,
talks about him all the time. He never can forget him.
What was his full name?
Theodore Chrysamboulos.
Yes, that's him.
Thodoros Chrysamboulos.
Istanbul.
So when he would go on vacation, I was the meat cutter. I was just a kid. Now, I'm going to tell you something about this apron. So this apron ties in the back, right? But you know, when we first put it on, we had to loop it a few times, then tie it in the front. That's how, we were kids.
Yeah.
And we wore the little white paper.
Paperhead.
Do y'all have them?
We're thinking about bringing them back.
Oh my gosh. Well, there's a little story there. I went off to college. I was a really bad student because my brother got a scholarship playing football. My little brother had a high ACT score. Sam and my parents knew it. They never encouraged me because they wanted me in this business. I know they did. They talked about it. So I said I'd go off to college. Well, man, I just couldn't stand it. I couldn't stand it. And that was a dead end for me. And that's why I say to this day, a dead end is not bad because at least you know you're not going down that way. You got to go that way.
Right.
So that ends that. Now you go this direction, right? So that's what happened. So I sat down that summer. I was 20 years old. And my mom and dad, they were very gentle about it. They had a conversation. And Dad, Sam, come to work at the restaurant. You'll be a percentage. I'll give you a percentage. You'll be a partner. And that's the deal he made, and I was ready to say yes, so I did it. And I never looked back. I've been here ever since. One job.
That's awesome. So, you're talking about passion and love for people. Have you always had that when you were younger, or did it kind of take over when you took over?
I had it. That's a great question. I had it when I was younger.
Yeah.
I was voted friendliest 2 or 3 times in high school. I just love people. I like to please people. It may be a little bit of a problem because sometimes I don't.
You overdid it. Somebody take advantage of you. Your employees will take advantage of you, but you got to treat them right.
I think I look at myself now and I think I need people. I love people. I like to be around them. And I have a friend of mine, his brother just left this room just about an hour ago. And he can travel all over the world. He's like a reptile. He could go in the desert. He doesn't need water. He doesn't need anything. I love being around people. And it when I go to Greece, it's a long journey. I have cousins over there and I have relationships with them, but it's a journey that I have to, if I'm with somebody, it's a lot easier. But I'm just, I kind of look at myself like if I could change something, I wouldn't change it because it helps me to be successful the way I am. Because I love people. I love big quantities of people. Rita's the same way. Rita, who's not on camera right now, but she's the manager. We can handle.
Was that the lady that was in here?
We can handle a room full of people. I could say hello to 200 people. I just can't get enough of them.
Yeah.
Love them.
But see, the thing is, when they walk in, all you got to do is be somewhere around there and just throw that hand up.
Oh yeah, you better believe it.
I mean, they love that shit, man.
And I've got it figured out, and you probably do too. It took me a long time to figure this out, but when this is a restaurant business thing that I've what is it about the restaurant? Well, people ate with their parents, food, and it's like a bird in a nest. Let's just say they eat and they feel comfortable. They're getting nutrients. Their body, their hormones are telling them how safe you are. Eat, replenish, recover. So they're not doing that anymore. So when they walk in that door and Sammy or Nikki or me say hello to them, it starts to bring up that family thing. This is a good tip to tell any young restaurateur. Listen, secret sometimes isn't having 80 restaurants. Secret sometimes is making sure that person feels like he did the right thing by passing up 40 restaurants that come into your place, and you make him feel good. You make them feel great. Am I wrong?
Listen, I used to tell them, all right, now look, guys, we're here. They have to pass. So
I
many.
say the same thing.
Now, all you got to do.
Say the same thing.
All you got to do. They're coming here because of us.
They say, yep.
The food's going to always be. That's the main thing. But you got to know
That's
how
right.
to get it out to them.
That's it.
And if they walk out that door and they're not smiling, we failed.
I tell them, I agree with you. That's your philosophy, and that so simple, but 100% successful because you put a deposit in them. Yeah. Deposit that thing that I'm trying to describe. Put that deposit into them.
You know,
All the people we hire.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You know, and sometimes they'll do it because they just don't want to hear me griping at them. You know, yeah, I'll do it. So
They do it because they're forced to.
I'm gonna
But we
be
do it
nice
because we
they'll
want
shut up
to.
and leave me alone.
But I do it because I like those people. I like the people that come in here.
Don't you get it when the guy looks at you and he recognizes you?
Oh, it's great.
And you say, well, I don't really know who that is, but he recognizes you.
Mm-hmm.
That makes you feel good.
It makes you feel good, and we put up with all the other stuff, the employees and the training and the patients and the disruptions and the equipment breaking and all that just for those people.
Yeah.
It's crazy, but that's a restaurateur.
Yeah.
That is a restaurateur.
Well, let me tell you what the difference is now. In the old days, if something's going to go wrong, it's going to happen, and the guy get mad, and they'll say something to somebody. But that always say you can't let them go out talking bad about you. But now, with social media,
Oh God, yeah.
if they got a gripe with your business, they go, how many people going to look at
One
that?
star. They're gonna give you one star because of what?
Man,
And
after,
who are
after
you?
all
We've
you've
never-
done, and somebody gonna say, I got one. That's all you're gonna say.
Well, we don't have their credibility.
Yeah.
We're standing. Our credibility's there. We don't know who this person is. They're anonymous. They don't
Yeah.
even. Not even a photo.
So you can't
but,
run, you can't hide. You're here every day. If it's
No, I
somebody-
can't run or I can't hide.
No, I mean, it's
Tell you what, we're honest. We can't pull anything over on any of our customers. They get $20. They get filled up. They see the food. Okay. There's no way to trick them. There's no tricks. 100% flat out, honest way to make a living.
I agree.
I do remember a moment that I said, Dad, I got to do something else. Can't do this. I said, at this pace, I cannot do this. I was probably, my dad died when I was 42, so this was probably in my 30s, late 30s. But I'm going to tell you, every time I did that to my dad, I was really seriously thinking about being a pilot. A lot of people don't know I flew airplanes for 25 years, small single engines. But I just had to do something else. I had to do something else. You know, I couldn't do this. This was killing me.
Yeah, I know exactly
But my
what you
dad,
said.
it's so funny.
Yeah.
My dad always upped me. I'd tell him a story. Sam, you hadn't seen anything. When I was when I was he could always outdo my story, and I would just zip my mouth and go back to work.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of a key, you know. Sometimes tell people how bad it is, you know, how bad it was for you too. You know, they feel normal.
Your dad's generation and my dad's, they were both World War II guys.
Mm-hmm.
And before that, life was not easy.
No.
It was just not easy.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Poor.
your dad was an actual immigrant. My 4 grandparents were immigrants, and it was hard.
You know, that reminds me of a story. It's do I have time to tell one
No,
more
you
story?
have plenty of time.
So one more story. I used to sit up there, and I was a cashier. I just sit up. Yes, can I help you, sir? Can I help you, sir? I was that guy, chained to that, what I call the Greek piano. Played it all day long. My dad had me as a cashier. Now, people would come in and say, "Have you ever tried Dreamland ribs?" You know, and I was just, it would infuriate me and anger me. Not that our ribs were fantastic, because I've improved our ribs so much. I look
They
back
were
and
good.
think, well, drove me crazy. And I started realizing they're getting some publicity on these Alabama games, which I didn't watch because I was over here. Okay, so I just said, I had this guy named Sam. We had the same name, and he was one of my favorite people. I loved him. We saw each other every single day, every night. We were in each other's lives, you know, unlike brothers. It's funny, in this business, you see your employees more than you see your family.
Yeah.
You do.
And when he finally passed away, I cried more at his funeral than I did at my own dad's because he was such a good friend to me. And I didn't realize it, but I said, Sam, get in the car. It wasn't a car, it was an old catering van. It was just, I'm talking about one of those pimped out ones. I think we sent it down to get a $300 paint job on it, paint it white. You know, we got to get rid of all that wild color on it. So we drove down to Tuscaloosa and we went to Dreamland, bought a slab of ribs, got in the car, went down the highway, pulled over on the side of the road and ate them. That is the day I realized hype,
Yeah.
Hype, a very powerful force. Am I wrong?
Yeah. Because, you know, Tommy Jr.
Advertising.
You know, Tommy Jr. and I were single when we were, you know, we were at Golden Rule, and we didn't have ribs. We would come here.
Oh yeah, I remember all you.
And we would come here and buy ribs, and we sometimes we'd sit, but we didn't want to be seen in here, you know.
That's true because I remember that, and so did Nikki.
Mannequin,
Yeah,
yeah.
actually, Nikki used to send people over here.
Yeah.
Because he respected
Yeah.
our ribs. Did you know Jim Madonia and Anthony and those guys? Did you know all those
I know
Italian
Jimmy
boys?
Madonia. They lived a
Who was
block
in-
from.
Yeah, and Anthony who owned Cedar House.
I don't know.
Anthony,
him.
you don't know him.
I
I
don't
forgot
know
his
him.
last name. He passed away, but Jimmy was in here last week.
Yeah, Jimmy was the Empire Sea. His
Empire
family,
Seafood.
yeah.
That's right. Yep.
His brother Frank and
I
Jody.
figured you guys were friends, maybe.
Yeah,
possibly.
we lived. Tony, his brother Tony went down. He was a shrimper. He started out at a restaurant. Of course, it wasn't the fish business, but,
Right.
Tony, Cadillac Cafe. They started.
I was
there.
going to mention that. That was before the bell bottoms and the
Right, right on that building.
what was the one in between that where Mark Phillips and Hotel used to play at? It was called, no, it wasn't called Bell Bottoms. Right before that,
It was Louis.
Louis. That's
Yeah.
right. Okay. You know, think about the purpose. You built a business here. You came all the way from a little village in Greece, built a business. People come across town to walk in your door to say hello to you and eat.
Right.
That's a inside
Built
purpose.
legacy.
Yeah, that's a purpose thing that I don't know. Can we ever get rid of that? I don't know.
Basically, it goes to the same thing we keep talking about. What it is they could go anywhere, but they come to your place.
It's amazing to think that.
That's.
I think about that sometimes at home. I'm like,
Yeah.
I named 4 people that our relationships, our friendships are because they actually like my food.
Yeah.
And so I was like, it doesn't really connect in a way.
Yeah. You know, they come in. And if you happen to not be here, well, where's Sam? Why wasn't he here? You know. You know, and at my age now, when they say, well, they get worried if I'm not there. They're not worried. They think I died or something. That's all. It's just that simple. But I haven't.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, let's talk about y'all's menu. Yours menu is a little different than a lot of barbecue places here. So if you want to talk about
All right,
yeah.
So I would say, and I think about Van Sykes when you ask that question because Van Sykes he's true to that, got the pit. What happened was Rita started running the front, watching the front, not really running it. She would watch the front for me. So I started going back in the back because I was watching the front, the back, the sides, the parking lot, all over the place. So she was like a hawk. I was like a hawk. And she became watching. So when I started going back in the kitchen, I started saying to myself, you know, I'm going to come up with some specials. So that started it. So we have redefined ourselves as we're going to get the barbecue as good as anybody's.
Right. Yeah.
And we're also going to have way more options because we're one store, and I'm in the back, she's in the front, and it kind of worked like that. I developed these specials. It took me 10 years. Just put on an apron every day and started thinking about it, and started thinking, what can I do? And I tried a lot of things. And so, what are the specials? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah. What are they?
Well, we did the country fried steak, and that took a while to kind of get that right. I think we've got it really how we like it. We did a mama's pot roast. I've never cooked pot roast before in my life, but I kept doing it. We don't have that now. We do something else. We do the Greek kebabs, and that comes with a little Mediterranean salad. So my diet's changed too.
That sounds good.
So, I low carb, and I do, so my diet's changed. I keep thinking, and my brother was a low carber. So we do the George's Greek chicken, boneless, skinless, off the grill with Greek style. And we do, we have a special every day. So, in answer to your question, we've reinvented ourselves a little bit.
Yep.
We don't, and I'll give you an example. If somebody says, let's go to Demitiri's and eat barbecue. And one of the person says, I don't want barbecue. We're like thinking differently from Van, and I respect him. We want all four of those people to say, yeah, I can get a da-da-da-da-da-da there. I can get this or that. And that. So that's the way we think.
Yeah. No, I think that's smart. Yeah.
That's the way we think. But if you can't get the first menu right,
You're
not going to get that second menu right. So
sure.
I feel like I'm a perfectionist. You gotta have to be in this. You get shown all your mistakes so much that you're gonna have to face them. So once we got that first menu, I think right, then we added this secondary menu on top. But I mean, that took years. I've been here 45 years, and
See, the thing there is, if you want to do it, but you don't have the time or the energy or want to, then you got to bring in a chef. Or, you might as well blow your brains out.
no way. No, I don't believe in all that because the chef now owns you. The chef now can hold you hostage.
That's right.
And if he can outcook you, then really you've got an employee that's better than you at something. And it's never been that way here. Now I'm old now, but I used to strap on an apron on a day where my cooks were not doing right. I said, step aside. And those hands and everything would move, and I'd be a little bit mad about it, but I would show them I still got it. That's the way it has to be. Am I wrong, Steve?
Yeah.
They have to respect you, and they have to realize you. They may start thinking they're a great cook. Well, I can do what you're doing. If you leave tomorrow, you'll be replaced.
Now, you don't want to do that, but
I'm looking at you, Brian. Maybe I'm staring at you too much.
He does a good job of that too.
We literally did it last week.
He shows them if it's time.
Your barbecue sauces, is it something that you developed, or is it something your dad developed?
My dad developed it in the 60s, in 1961, and I'm sure he kind of perfected it as he went. And so, no, I just do it. I'm the only one that knows the recipe. I wish, Rita, well, my little brother knew the recipe. And then I did have one other employee that knew it, and she's not around anymore, but we had to give the recipe to a few people, but I'm the only one that knows it now.
Yeah.
Now, Dean could probably come over here if something happened to me and make it, but if I was off somewhere in Greece and we needed some barbecue sauce, emergency, something happened, I would tell Rita. I want her to know because I want her to run it if something happens to me. I keep thinking about this safe, and she's had a hard time with that combination. I'm like, practice, Rita. Da-da-da-da, 2 to the left, 3 to the right. Da-da-da. Come on, because if something happens to me, you've got to get in there.
Yeah.
And we've prepared ourselves for something like that. And
When I took over, Sammy's back there with the 5-gallon bucket and just making barbecue
Yeah.
sauce. I'm like, who all knows this? He's like, me and
Yeah.
the other guy. And I'm like, oh man.
yeah, that's it.
Sammy still go back there sometimes if he has to. And
So you're the only one that right now that knows the recipe?
no,
or-
they
bought it,
yeah,
so y'all
yeah,
know
yeah,
it. Okay.
but at that time, it was
No, you don't give the recipe out.
And Miss Bernice, I bet I went 10 years before I got, because we had a lady, Miss Bernice.
Right, yeah.
And she did that in the baked beans. and
That's
whatever.
true. I know. I'm the same way. We had a few. I mean, if you watch them, we had Barbara work for us for 45 years, 47 years, I think. And they count the money for 20 years. You can trust them.
Yeah.
And they would never. There's some very loyal people out there, and you find that kind of loyalty, but you just can't just give out recipes.
Now, a funny story about Miss Bernice. She was teaching somebody to make the baked beans.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, okay, do this, this, and this, but it won't work unless you got, I'm trying to think of his name, the Reverend who was singing on the radio, because she had the gospel on when she was doing it. If that
hilarious.
song is not
Is that
playing,
funny?
these beans ain't going
No,
to
I've
be
never heard
right.
that one before. That song has to be playing.
Yeah.
So she prayed over the beans.
Yeah, basically.
wrong with that?
I didn't realize. You just,
That's bless the food. Let's go. Bless the
Yeah.
food in this
Well,
restaurant.
let me make it right one more time.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So we're not really sure who's watching these videos, but I'm gonna assume it's people that are obviously interested in barbecue. If you could tell somebody that's starting a barbecue business, just anything, what's the one thing that you would say?
I have a few of my own
Yeah,
philosophies.
yeah,
Okay,
share 'em.
you're on a 25-year learning curve.
Yeah.
You're never going to break that. That ain't going to be a 2-year learning. You're not going to shortcut anything. Kind of like a bull rider. Get on a bull. Don't tell the other bull rider that's fallen 500 times that you're going to be able to ride this bull in 8 seconds. You don't have to have any falls. You're going to fall. You're going to fall as much as the other guys. So the first 25 years is a learning curve. By the way, it's not a learning curve. It's a mistake learning curve.
Yeah.
You're going to make 25 years of mistakes.
how about this? If you've started out in another field and you say, yeah, this looks good, or I got a little money, I'm going to invest it here, and you're used to not
my
work.
God.
If you're not used to working,
Are you serious?
the hours, how you?
Let me just say this. I got another one. This one you'll agree with. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, but I'm done.
You start off where you're only at 8 years old, and your only job is this.
Yeah.
Do not go out there and get another job. Do not go taste what it's like to have weekends off. Don't. Company car, no stress, and no employees. You don't want to know that and come back in this. No. You don't want to know that, right?
See, here's what people don't understand, and they should. It's not a big deal to them. It doesn't matter. But when you walk in here, whatever time you walk in here in the morning, until you walk out, every decision comes right through that brain right there.
Mm-hmm. Everyone.
You got it all set up,
Every
and
single
everything
thing.
smooth 90% or 99% of the time. But when something goes wrong, what do I do about this?
Yeah.
Or so and so didn't show up, or and you don't take your mind's going in full blast the whole time, and you got to get there's no. Now you got Rita, and you thank God
Yeah.
for that.
Let me tell you, my dad passed away, and then she appeared. Her husband brought her in. Lexi Clariotis. Remember Father Clariotis?
Yeah,
His son, youngest son.
and I've been
They're
seeing-
married.
I didn't have any idea.
Yeah, Rita and Alexi are married. She lives with a Greek, and she works for a Greek.
Well,
she understands me.
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend it.
Most people.
I don't want to discourage somebody. We had a guy. We've had people come in here and they have this dream. Now it's even worse. They watch YouTube, and it's all glamorous, and they want to da da da. I mean, it's just crazy trying to. That mentality, you'll never. You have to start off with your mental condition. My father conditioned my thinking. It's hard. It's hard work. Money is precious. Save your pennies. And they used to say, save your nickels. They add up. They'll make a dollar.
Yeah.
Take care of the pennies, and dollars will take care of themselves. Been trained by people like Mike, and my dad, they came from a different era. If nobody's there to condition you, and you don't want to take advice, first of all, why aren't they asking Sammy or me? Why don't they, before they open a restaurant, why don't they come over here and ask us? They never do. I've been here 45 years. We're the oldest family restaurant in Homewood. You're the oldest barbecue restaurant
The U.S.
in the United States?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
According to the study done by the university.
Okay, unbelievable.
Yeah.
So now, but has anybody ever walked in your door that's going in the restaurant business and asked you a question? Never have it, not one time has anybody asked me advice for anything.
Yeah,
They don't want to hear it. Probably. Am I wrong?
They're two different time, two big time people, and they said we want to do this, and one of them was a star athlete. He said,
Oh,
"This is my
boy.
brother," and I said, and I looked at the brother, and I said, "Okay, now you used to being off this and that." I said, "If you don't want to work when you don't want to work, if you can't work when you don't feel like it, if you want to do something else, then forget. Just don't worry about it. Just forget about it. Don't just go and do what you're doing now." Another guy was at a steel company. One of his sons wanted to. I said, well, you know, and they went ahead and opened up, and I guess they're doing okay. I don't know. But, you know, I think the boys are out of it now. They had sold it or something. They're not going to work like
That
that.
doesn't sound like they did okay.
Yeah. I mean, if I got a steel company, I ain't frying chicken.
Well, I feel like we covered so much. I wouldn't be here. You know, the Lord gave me this job, is what I believe, and you know, the one thing I would just say flat out, without Him, I wouldn't be here today. So
For sure.
Yeah.
Yep. For
So
sure.
would balance be a good word? Sit on a coffee cup.
do you like the way I turned that around? Sammy, I had a great time talking to you today. I really enjoyed it.
I tell you what, Sam. You know, we've seen each other, but we don't see each other enough. I'm looking around. I'm very impressed.
Thank you.
It's a beautiful operation. The rib, the wings. I get one wing, but the wings are beautiful. They're great. The whole thing is, this is an impressive deal.
Well, now that we're slowed down a little bit, you know, we didn't see each other that much because we
No.
were married to the restaurant.
Well,
so
yeah, you know, we
we get together.
You got to do what you got to do,
That's right.
and everybody else does what they got to do.
Yeah, it's true.
We just had to do it a little different.
Yes, we did.
But I tell you what, thanks for letting us come by and say hello. And you're quite a host. You got that you got that Greek European host attitude.
That's right.
You know,
We love people.
gotta love them,
we
because if
do.
you don't, they'll drive you nuts.
Yes, they will. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
God bless you.
God bless you.
Man, what an episode. That was a great conversation with Sam and Sammy. We learned so much. They're celebrating their 64th anniversary here, and if you've never tried Demitiri's breakfast, you are missing out. They serve breakfast every single day, and it's always packed out, so be sure to get her early. Stay tuned for the next Pit Stop with Sammy. Guess in the comments where we're going next week.